Hello everyone, welcome to the next episode on SAP UI5 and Fiori training. In the last episode, we have seen how to enable the list modes and how to also enable a single screen to display both master and detail section on a same page. In subsequent session, we will talk about the toolbar control and also the tab strip control in SAP UI5. But before we start, I have received one question from Mr. Roshan. Roshan is actually going through the sessions on the video mode, and he has asked a very important question which I think many of you would like to ask, but you would have probably missed it. He says, Anubhav, the teaching is fantastic. While you teaching, I am able to understand the concept, but during my practice, I do usually get lots of errors. And after working it hard, I am able to resolve these errors. Most of the time, the question starts now. The question is, if I go like this, I am afraid that during my real time project, I will also get so many errors and bugs. What to do, Anubhav? Am I on the right direction? Please give me your thoughts. So here is one of my student who is confused. He's confused about, is he on the right track? You guys, you might have had the same feeling. Maybe. How many of you had the same feeling that it's getting so difficult at times to just get a simple button on the screen? How often it becomes so difficult for you guys? Only one person? I just got one yes here, Mr. Tamzeed Ahmed. Only one person I've got. All right, I got so many yes now. One, two, three, four, five, six. All right, everybody has this feeling. Why are you not asking this? Why are you not asking these days this question then? Yes, you are able to resolve the error. Very good. Yes, you are able to find lot of bugs in a very small example. What is the solution, guys? What is the solution? So shall we stop doing training? Shall we stop proceeding further and repeat all the things once again? Probably not. Now, to answer this question, which is a very tricky question for me too, initially when I saw this question, I thought, oh my God, how do I answer? This is the same feeling I had, guys, when I was learning SAP UI5. I had exactly same feeling. Okay, exactly same feeling I had when I was learning SAP UI5, and that was the time I come across I come across an amazing blog which I read, and this blog is all about Indian Army, and I would like to share my experience with you. What gave me or what kicked me out of this feeling of getting nervous about my outputs. So, guys, in India, we have a great army, and on the we have great regiment, tank regiment as well as part of the Indian Army arm. And in India, we have a training center for all the army people, and it is somewhere located in Ahmednagar. It's so called KK firing ranges. The KK firing ranges allows army people to practice the tanks, the missiles, the machine guns, all the infantry rifles. They can all go there. They can practice these big weapons. They can put the missile into the tank, and then they can fire the missile from the tank. This is so called KK regiment. Yeah, KK rifles. It's a place in Ahmednagar where they do this. All right. So once upon a time, there was a firing competition. There was a firing training going on to certify a soldier whether he can go to war now or not. So basically, at the end, just the way you have exams, soldiers also have exams. In that, they have to do a live practice at front of their brigadier, at front of their commandant, and they have to now fire these missiles out of the tanks. So now all the tanks are lined up, missiles are loaded, radio telephony is on, the BMPs are set, and now the commandant officer says, all right, Alpha 1, Alpha 2, are you ready? Alpha 1, are you ready? Alpha 2, are you ready? Alpha 3, are you ready? Fire on your own wish. And now, one by one, these tanks starts firing. Alpha 1, boom. Alpha 2, boom. Alpha 3, boom, like that. And there was one soldier into the last BMP. BMP is nothing but your tank. In the last BMP, there was one soldier, and this soldier fires. Boom. And what happens? Guess what? The missile misses its target. Okay. Missile misses its target in the final exam. And guys, trust me, in army, they only they only and only rely on the final outcome. They don't understand or they don't care. Sir, ये थोड़ा सा मेरे से गलती हो गया है. Sir, ये I could just not press this button at the right time, or I could not do. They don't listen all this. For you, simply after years of training, you disqualified in the final exam. Your missile could not hit the target, and that too not your fault. Trust me, guys. There are many environmental factor, equipment factor, which comes into picture. It's not at all your fault. Now, finally, soldier are being called up, and they have been given all the badges. And this guy also called up who was sitting, and their commandant is briefing them, each of the soldier, and giving them the badges. And this guy sitting at the corner, demotivated, demoralized, completely out of confidence. And now, one by one, the main commandant is briefing each of the soldier. Say, Alpha 1, you've done a great job, but this was your mistake. Alpha 2, you've done a great job. This was your mistake. Alpha 3, you've done a great job. This was your mistake. And till the end, it comes to the soldier for whom the missiles was misfired. And now you see that soldier, that he is kind of losing all the confidence. And then the commandant say, hey soldier, don't lose your confidence. I will give you one more missile from my pool. So commandant has usually, this pool of missiles, and now he gives one more missile to this last soldier. Don't you think this last soldier who has done years of practice under the commandant should get one more chance? Anyone? Do you think he should get one more chance now to fire missile? So, yes, you all think yes, then what happens? This guy gives one more missile to the that soldier. Now, once again, the tanks have been called, a new tank have been brought down, new BMP have been called up, new missile have been loaded into this tank, new machine gun machinery has been loaded. And now they also call all the people, all the soldiers nearby. Sometimes they also involve the civilians who are sitting outside, want to see how does a tank work, how does a tank fire. And everybody have been called up. They all been standing there looking at this tank, looking at this guy, and this guy is now ready to fire. And now the commandant says, hey Alpha, this is on your wish, please fire on your wish. And everybody is sitting and watching this guy. And now this guy once again fires. Guess what can you guess, guys? Does the target hit or not? The target misses again. The target misses again, second time, guys. So one time it may so happen that out of 10,000 fires, one fire misses. But now in the second chance, same soldier with a different BMP, again the missile misses the target. Again, not at all his fault. Chances of missing one target out of 10,000 is one, but chances of missing two times same soldier another target is once in millions actually. Once in millions. And now once again, they all go to the briefing room. This guy is completely demoralized now, sitting around the corner. And now the commandant calls this guy and say, "Hey, Mister," and his name was Mr. Raghu, and say, "Hey, Raghu, just try to understand the chances of missing a missile being fired is once in 10,000. And for the same soldier, once again, chances of missing that fire of a missile and missing its target is once in a million." And guys, remember this statement. What does he say? The commandant says the next very important statement for all of you. That is what the lesson out of this. I will tell first in the Hindi. Those who can understand Hindi, this is where you get the feel. The commandant now says to this guy, put his hand on the shoulder of the cap or shoulder of the soldier, and say, हर एक की जिंदगी में कुछ मिसाइल्स फायर लिखे हुए हैं जो कि मिस होंगे. ऑलराइट. हर एक की जिंदगी में कुछ मिसाइल्स फायर लिखे हुए हैं जो मिस होंगे ही होंगे. It's written in your future. It is written in your luck. It is written in your fortune that there will be some certain missiles which will misfire with you. You will misfire them. It's written in your luck. It is your bad luck. और सर आपने अपने मिसाइल जो बैड लक मिसाइल थे वो आपने ट्रेनिंग में ही खत्म कर दिए. Yeah, which means all the bad luck missiles which you have with you in your luck, in your bad luck, you have finished both these missiles in the training itself, which means when you go to the war, you will never misfire any missile in the war because your bad luck was gone into the training itself. So guys, more defects you are getting, more errors are you getting in your Fury application, it is your bad luck. It is your that misfired missile which you are misfiring, or it happened to so got misfired during the training. Remember, this is why they say if you sweat more in training, you will bleed less into the war. So you got to keep doing it. You got to keep sweating. It doesn't mean that you intentionally misfire every missile and come to Anubhav, this is my misfire missile. Don't do that, guys. If there is a missile which is getting misfired, if there is an output which is not coming, if you are facing an issue, if you are unable to crack it down in the first go, that's absolutely fine. That is your bad luck, and this bad luck is going to go simply away during the training time. Trust me, when you go to real time project, nobody can even touch your coding style. Nobody can even come close to you in your entire team or probably in your entire organization. कोई तुम्हारे पास भी नहीं आ पाएगा. You will be that fast and that accurate in your training, after your training, that nobody can even come close to it. But for that you got to have training done. मिसाइल उसी का मिस फायर होगा जो मिसाइल फायर करेगा. जो मिसाइल फायर ही नहीं करेगा उसका मिसाइल मिस फायर होगा ही नहीं. विच मीन्स द पर्सन हु विल प्रैक्टिस, ओनली दैट गाय विल गेट एरर्स. The person who is conveniently sitting and just watching session every day, that guy who is never even trying it out in the system, he will never get an issue. Issue उसी को आते हैं जो practice करता है. You will only get misfire in missile. The only person who has misfire in life, those who at least fire. Those who don't even fire, they don't know what is misfire. So those who don't even practice, they don't know what is an issue. For them everything is magic. Everything is magic for them, guys. So those who don't even practice, they will not at all get any errors. They will conveniently complete the training, and then in the production they will have lots of misfire of missiles. Now guys, what's your choice? Do you want to misfire these missiles during training and get the bad luck away when the stakes are low, or do you want to go and have a misfire during your training, sorry, during your war, when a misfire will cost you your life probably, right? Or cost the life of your friend probably. And then next to it, guys, another story. Just 2 more minutes I will take. So what happens is, and then at the end of 2 3 years afterwards, there is a competition going on between 22nd infantry rifles and first infantry rifles. And now this is a neck to neck competition, and the last competition between these two infantry rifles was tank firing. And now there is a tank coming from 22nd rifle, jig, 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 coming from the ruggling from the left side, and there is another tank coming from the right side, jig, 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 that their BMP is also coming. Both the BMPs are neck to neck. Now they are ready to fire, and before they fire, this is a neck to neck competition between these two regiments. And now the first in the first BMP, the guy is sitting who was trained by Mr. Nair. He comes down, he takes off his helmet, he takes off his capola, he takes off his radio, and he goes and try to walk start walking towards the second tank to just wish the second tank guy a best of luck. Now the guy, when the second tank sees, okay, this guy is coming towards us to say something, this guy also takes off his helmet, takes off his radio, takes off his capola, and then he also starts walking. And guess what, guys? Guess what? It is the trainer and the training. It is the commandant who trained this guy, and they both are now face to face now. But it's a question of valor. It's a question of ijjat of the platoon, right? It's a question of your ijjat of platoon. So you got to still compete with your trainer. Okay, though this guy have trained you, but you have to compete. And now I still remember what they said. This guy who was a training says, sir, today we have a fight between you and me. You are my trainer. I have so much of respect, but above you I have respect towards my platoon. I will do every best thing to win, sir. And then this guy, this commandant, this guy who was the trainer, he says, yes, आज तो मुकाबला होगा शागिर्द और ट्रेनर के बीच, उस्ताद और ट्रेन और उस्ताद एंड शागिर्द के बीच. उस्ताद मीन्स द ट्रेनर and shagird means the trainee. So आज तो मुकाबला होगा. Today there is a fight between the trainer and the trainee. But now the next statement which he says, I will win. The trainer says, but I will win. Okay, the trainer says, but I will win. Why does it say? Then this guy asks, trainee asks, sir, why are you saying that you will win? Then the ustad says, अगर तुम जीते, अगर मैं जीता तो मैं जीता, अगर तुम जीते तो भी उस्ताद जीता. What does it mean? If I win, I will win. But if you win, a trainer will win. The trainer which trained you will win. So remember, guys, only leaders are supposed to produce leaders better than them. Okay, and I wish every single one of you that you will go to the market, you will go to your company, and you do better than Anubhav. Yes, you can do it, guys. You can do. I have lots of my students who are doing much much better than me. Though initially they were trained by me, though initially they were with me, but today they are building applications which nowhere, no way I can build. Nowhere. They are still exist. So only leaders are supposed to produce leaders better than them, guys. And guess what? In that game, I will not tell you. You got to read that blog now on the internet. Just try to find it out and read that. So that is what our learning, two important learnings from this lesson, guys. Now I hope your confusion is clear with the examples. My always intention is to give you an example, a real life example, which gives you lots of learning, because that learning keeps you motivated, that learning keeps you get going, that learnings never let you go down. This is so important, guys. So important. All right, let's go on, and now let's get started with our chapter. And I click on the item, and now you can see here it's displaying the lemon information. The solution of this exercise, of yesterday's exercise, is already also available into the training blog. You can go and check it. And now what we want to is, we want to enable here a toolbar control at the bottom of the screen. So let's go ahead and add a toolbar. Now for adding a toolbar at the bottom of the page, we got to refer the page documentation once again. So let's go back to API reference, search for the page object, and I can see here the page object. And inside this page object, we have lots of aggregations. The aggregation which we will be using is the footer aggregation. So you can just come to aggregations, and you can see here a footer aggregation. It always accepts a I bar object. An I bar object is an object of a toolbar actually. All right. So let's go ahead and find that out. So I'm going to come back, and now I will just go here to the web IDE. There you go. And we will be adding a footer control as part of my details section. So let's come here, and I will be adding a footer. Of course, it should be at the page level, not inside the content. Many times you will probably put it inside the content. It's not going to work. Okay, got to put it outside the content. It's at the page level. The aggregation is at the page level. Just put footer here, and now inside that I'm going to add a toolbar control. And now over here inside the toolbar, we're going to add a button control, and I'm going to say text of the button control is, let's say, save. And now another button I'm going to add is, say, cancel. All right, let's save this up. Let's come back, and I'm going to refresh the page. So let's come back and refresh the page here and go inside, and you can see now, guys, there is a save and a cancel button. Let's see how does it look in the mobile phone. So I'm just going to press F12 and turn my device into mobile phone, and now you can see this is how it looks in a mobile phone. All right, that looks pretty cool. So now, guys, let's compare this with SAP standard application. What do you think in terms of toolbar? If you have seen some standard Fiori apps, what do you think have been different in the standard application as compared to yours? So maybe I go to the design guidelines, the samples. How should you ideally create these objects? So go to the page, and I'll go inside the sample of the page to see how they are following the design guidelines. So what do you think? What is the difference between this standard application in toolbar as compared to your application toolbar? What do you think, guys? What's the difference? Color of the button, very good. What else? Yes, Swami has got it right. The buttons are right aligned. Okay, see here, the buttons are right aligned, but in our application these buttons are left aligned. Of course, the positioning of the button, right? What do you think? Why SAP has placed these buttons on the right hand side? Why? How? Very good answer. So basically it's all about user experience, guys. So most of the world population, the way they use the mobile phone, what do? They hold the mobile phone on their right hand side palm, isn't it? Most of the world population hold the mobile phone on their right hand side palm, and then they operate this device from their right hand side thumb. You might have seen people in the buses, in the public transport, or around the corner when they're walking. They put the button in one of the hand, and now they're using the buttons using their thumb, right? Now the thumb is comparatively a smaller one as compared to other fingers in your hand, and it's easy for thumb to reach on the right hand side of the phone, isn't it? When you use your thumb, what do you think? What makes more comfortable, if a button is on the left hand side, or if a button is on the right hand side? What is easily approachable with your thumb? Anyone? What is easily approachable, a right hand side button or a left hand side button? Of course, a right hand side button is easily approachable, and that's called user experience, guys. That is one of the example you can give an interview as user experience example. This is all about user experience. What you designing is UI, how user use the app is the user experience. So if you want to improve user experience, which direction you should put your buttons, and why SAP is putting the buttons on the right side. This is the reason, guys. It's all about user experience. So when you look at any standard Fiori application, you would realize that SAP puts their button always on the right hand side, always and always. This is the reason. It's because of user experience, guys. So how do we move these buttons on the extreme right corner? It's pretty easy. Look at the sample code. You can see they are already having these buttons on the right side. So I go to sample code and see how the sample code is actually putting the content. So now I come here, I can see footer, and I can see the toolbar. So what do you think? which control is moving the buttons on the extreme right corner? Do you see a special control inside a toolbar which is probably shifting these buttons on the right side? Yes, your guess is right. It's the toolbar spacer control. If you put that control, it always makes sure that everything afterwards this is placed on the extreme right corner. This is what this toolbar spacer control does. So let me come back, just add the toolbar spacer control. Yeah, and just save this. It's just a single tag. Absolutely, there is nothing inside. It's just a single tag you got to add. It adds lots of space on the page, responsive space, based on which a space gets created and the buttons gets aligned on the extreme right corner. And now we come back and refresh our page in the mobile, and now let's check it out. So just refresh the app, and I will select the item, and now voila, you see these buttons are placed on the right side. And this is how we can achieve a great user experience when it comes to SAP UI5. All right, how do we navigate it to sample code? You can see it's already here. There's a button on the top right corner. There's always a button on the top right corner to look at the sample code of this page. Yeah, this is the button. I have also shown this in the previous classes. If you have noticed, then this is the button, guys, which you can click to move to the code. Yeah, this is how we can move. So click on that and the sample code is available. And here is where you can see this is how SAP have designed their footer and the toolbar, considering SAP Fiori design guidelines, which says the buttons has to be placed on the extreme right corner and probably in a toolbars, any of the toolbar which you create. All right, so I've not copy pasted this code, rather than I just got an influence from this code to see, just in case if I'm stuck, I can always take a reference from here. Yeah, so now let's come back to the desktop mode and let's see what else can we do. So guys, you see here this doesn't look so nice when it comes to a toolbar. You see the bottom in the on the right side there's a toolbar, but on the left side it looks pretty like, it doesn't give a consistent look and feel. So though even you don't want a button on the left side, just put an empty toolbar, guys, on the left side. So I will put an empty toolbar on the left side. So for that we have to go to the master page. So I will go back to the web IDE and go to my master page, and here is our page once again, the master application page, the view one, so-called view one. It has header content, subheader content, and main content, and I'm going to add a footer. And let me just save this up. It's an empty footer with an empty toolbar inside. I just added that, and let's come back and refresh the page. So you're going to get an empty footer, empty toolbar, and voila, you see. And I can choose, and you see the pieces connects pretty well. Looks a very consistent application the way it looks in SAP UI5. All right, so now on click of save button, I would like to give a pop-up. So basically on the save button, when it is pressed, I would like to see a nice pop-up. And by far, guys, we were using pop-up as alert. Do you remember we were using window.alert function in JavaScript to give a pop-up? That's not acceptable. You should never use that pop-up window.alert in SAP Fiori. Never do that. SAP Fiori gives you an API to throw the right pop-ups messages if you wish to give to the user. We will be using that. So we'll give a pop-up. In that pop-up, this will be confirmation pop-up to ask user, would you like to save this object or not, or something of that sort. And there will be two buttons. One is say okay, and what is say cancel. So this is what called a confirmation pop-up, which we can use in SAP UI5. It's a built-in pop-up. It's a built-in library again inside SAP UI5 you can utilize to display this pop-up screen. Yeah, on click of OK button, I want to see a message like a success message at the bottom. Here a success message should come. Your object has been saved successfully, something of that sort. I want a message at the bottom of the screen when the save OK button was pressed. So this is my requirement. Two pop-ups. First is two messages. First is as a pop-up, like you get information message in Core Back, which comes in a pop-up, and then one another will be this called toast message. Okay, this is called toast message in SAP Fiori. It comes and it goes away. Yeah, it comes for 5 seconds, 6 seconds on the screen, and it goes away like a success message. All right, like a success message what comes in SAP above. So how do we achieve this requirement? Let's go ahead and add the dependency for that. So I'm going to come back to my view 2 controller where I've added the button, And now guys, to also add a color to the button, you can use the type of the button, and that's another property called accept. I will put, so this will bring your save button in the green color. Yeah, this will bring your save button in the green color. You can watch that up. Let me just reduce the width, and now I just refresh the page just to get you the mobile screen. Yeah, that's a mobile screen we've got. It's not adapting it. Yes, and now see this is coming in the green color. The button is coming in the green color. That's your save button. Now on click of the save button, where I want to get up a message pop up. So how do you do that? So very easy. Just put an action, which is press for button always, and on save. Some name you can give, your choice. You can give Spider-Man also, doesn't matter. And now got to implement that in the controller, this function. So let's come here and put on save. And now over here, you got to add the dependency, guys. Just go on the top and add a dependency over here. And I'm going to add sap/m/message box. And this is the dependency. It's a built-in class in SAP UI5. I can just name it as MSG box. Any name you can give. Again, you can put Spider-Man. It's your choice. Doesn't matter. Yeah. So now that's a dependency I've added, sap.m.message box class. I will also add another dependency called sap.m sap/m/message toast. That's another one. And I'll say message toast. So two dependencies I've added, toast message and message box API. All right. Scaffolding template is going to do that for you. Add all the dependencies on the top. And now the objects are created for message toast and message box. First, we'll throw a message box. So let's come down. On save button, we will say oh message box dot confirm. This is an API. This is a method of the message box. You can always go and check the documentation on SAP UI5 SDK. The first parameter comes here is the title of the message. I will say confirmation, comma, curly braces, and now you can see here inside this you can put the, so this first thing is content of the message, and now you can add a title of the message. So I can say confirmation, and this is the content of the message. So you will put here the content of the message. You'll say, would you like to save the object? Yeah, so that's what you do. Save this up, and now watch out guys, on click of save button we should get this message box on the UI. Let's come back to our app and just refresh your app, and you got to select an item. You got to select an item, and now oops, what's happening? Yes, all right, so we got the item, and now we can click on save button guys. Okay, now click on save button, and oops, nothing is working. Something is wrong. I think this is not the right API, or am I passing something wrong? I need to check that. So let's come back and check it. Console is our best friend. I press F12. So this is the misfired missile guys. You have this misfire, and the more misfire you have, more productive app you will build, more powerful, more stable application you will build. Okay, did I added in some wrong view? Yes guys, you're right. You can see I have added it in the view 1 controller. Ideally this code of the on save button should go into the view 2 controller. Kidhar hai? Ye era. Okay, here we have to add it. So I put it in the wrong controller. Of course, this is the reason it's not working. Cut this up. And this is the reason I don't keep so many files open. I just close all them. I go to view 2 controller, and I'm going to add here this on save button. All right, superb. Make sure the last method has a comma to separate out this one. And the dependency is missing, of course. Let me add the dependencies, message box and message toast. And now let's do that over here, and I'll say sap/m/message box, sap/m/message toast. All right, that's a dependency. We have added both the dependencies, And now we're gonna touch and run this up nicely. All right, let's come back. Okay, how do you know that there's a message box API? You got to check the UI5 documentation. Just go and check UI5 documentation, API reference, and now you can just search for message box, and you can see SAPM message strip, message view, message item, message page, and then you have lots of these classes. Message box will also be there. Let me search for that. And you see this is SAPM message box API, and this has variety of methods. You can see the dependency they've added. There is a show message, there is a confirm message, there is an alert message, there is an error message. You see confirm message, which we are using right now. You can see an error message. Is that clear?
Anu,
Yes.
quick question. Are we not looking for pop-up? Reason I'm asking is now you're teaching us the functionality of message box, right? Tomorrow something else comes up. I just want to understand how to look up because I was searching for pop-up and I found something else related to pop-up but not message box.
Mhm. All right, so you have to search for message box, and this is the reason this training will help you to know which are all the most important objects which are used in most of the Fury applications. So at the end of this training, you will be equipped with the tools, with the object, at least familiar with objects which are important for your training, which are important for your application building, bare minimum, right? This is the reason we are going through the training, so that we get to know such an important objects and we don't have to rush here and there to find them up, right? So I will demonstrate
Okay.
including the pop-up also in next class. Pop-up is also planned here in this course, so you will also get familiarized with the pop-up. Mhm.
Okay. Thank you, Anubhav.
All right, so let's come back, and now I can just come down, and you can see we are throwing now the confirm pop-up, and let's see how does it look. So I can come back to the UI, refresh my page, and just simply close this up, select an item, and just, why it's not going away? Ideally, it should go away automatically based on the mobile display. Yes, it is gone now. You see mobile display. Click on save button and voila, you can see, would you like to save this object? That's a confirmation pop-up which is coming up. Okay. Would you like to save this object? User can say okay and cancel. Now, how do we handle these okay and cancel separately? What should happen on okay, what should happen on cancel? That's something which we have to do it, guys, very carefully. So on click of okay button, I want to throw another message at the bottom saying object have been saved successfully. How do I do that? Very easy. Let's come here, and now we have an event inside called on close. All right, there's an event called on close. Call that event, and whatever user choice, whatever user select, that is going to be passed as an argument to this function. Okay, so if user clicked on okay button, the choice value will be okay. So I will just put if condition, if choice is equals to okay, then what do I have to do? I have to throw an another message called message toast dot show your object have been saved successfully. Yeah, so now what will happen is on click of save button, on click of okay button, you will see this toast message will come up, and it will display you the toast message at the bottom of the screen. The beauty of this message is this message comes up for a fraction of seconds and it goes away naturally. So that's the beauty of this function. All right, so let's come back. Going to refresh this up, and now I will just click on the item. All right, I clicked on the item, and now you can see there's a save button. Just click on the save button, and I see first our first confirmation message comes up, and only when I click on OK, it's going to throw a toast message. Click on OK, and there you go. You can see a toast message. You might have seen these kind of messages on SAP UI5 applications. Your object have been saved successfully. That is the message you might have seen in the past coming at the bottom of the screen, and now it goes away naturally. You see, it comes and it goes away after some seconds. You can also control how many seconds you want this message to be on the screen. All this is controllable, right? So this is a toast message which comes and goes away naturally from a screen. That's called toast message. You might have seen that these type of messages. Never use alert statement, guys, to throw a message. You can also throw error messages. So again, there is an error message. You can always go to UI5 SDK and check. You see, this is the error message. It comes in a different color, different styling. So based on these type of class methods you use, there most of the signature is same. Yeah, you can see you all have on close method. You see on close here for alert. Similarly, on close for error also we have. So the signature is same, but the look and feel, the look of each of the message is different. All right. So now is same one you want to turn into an error, you can just do that error. And now watch out, how does it look? So we go back to the UI, refresh my application, and now we click on save button. And now you see, guys, it comes like red color, this symbol of error. So it comes in little red color kind of thing, and it doesn't have any OK button, just have a close button. So confirmation has OK and close, and this one just have a close button. It's just an error information to the user. Switch it back to the confirm one. All right, so that's about the messaging, the toolbar. And now let's look at the tab strip control in SAP Fiori. What is a tab strip control? Like you might have worked with lots of SAP GUI applications, we get tab strip to group the elements, right? Group all the, when you want to design a screen, it becoming so complex. At times we need to group or containerize small parts of the screen into the tab strip. So we can do that. That's called icon tab bar control. And each icon tab bar contains multiple items, which is so called icon tab filter. Icon tab filter, each icon tab filter represents one tab of a tab strip. So let's bring it up on the view one and sorry, view two itself. And I want to display multiple tabs now. So I go to the view two, and now beneath the object header, I will be adding an icon tab bar, basically a tab strip, guys. So you will say like this tab strip. Inside a tab strip you will have lots of tabs, like that, tab 1, tab 2, like this, right? So this is what something you can imagine. This is just for your imagination. There is no control called tab strip in SAP Fiori. There is no control. This is just imagine that there is one tab strip and this has 3 tabs. All right, so that's what exactly the icon tab bar and icon tab filter is. So this one, this parent is icon tab bar, and these children's are icon tab filters. So let me show you how do we add that. Very easy. So you can say icon tab bar, inside that icon tab filter, and now we can add 3 icon tab filters. And guess what, each icon tab filter has a property called key and text. So I'm going to add a text here. So I will say text. Each icon tab filter has a text. And my first one is, let's say, additional data. And the second one has my, let's say, suppliers. And this is maybe extra. And you can also give the icons, guys. But now, guys, this may not work because icon tab bar has an aggregation called items, and that is not a default aggregation. Let me show you in UI5 SDK. So go here and go to this icon tab bar. Look at its aggregation. Do you think any of the aggregation is default aggregation? Anybody? Do you think any of these aggregation is default aggregation? Do you see somewhere default written, right? Not written, no? Which means when you added these tabs, what do you think, where will these tabs go? When you added these tabs, what do you think, where these tabs will go? Will it go in content or will it go in aggregation? What do you think? When you added these tabs, tab icon tab filters, where they will go? They will go in content or will they go in items? Most of you saying they will go in content. No, they will not go anywhere. It will dump. It will give you an error. It will say not a valid aggregation because none of them is a default aggregation. System will be confused. System will not know where to put this. Okay, system will not know where to put this because none of them is default aggregation. Do you remember the default aggregation definition? In the table control we use that, right? In the table control, where is my UI table? In the table control, the columns was default aggregation. पूरा लिखा हुआ आता है, बकायदा लिखा हुआ आता है कि it's a default aggregation. If you go and check, you see columns was default aggregation. Do you see this or not? Here, if there is something default aggregation, it is written on UI5 SDK. But if it is not written and you directly trying to add the controls in the children without mentioning the aggregation name, it will dump. Now you come back and refresh, it will dump, guys. Let me come back, refresh. You see it's dumping. Why it's dumping? It cannot identify the parent of icon tab bar. See, this icon tab bar doesn't have a default aggregation defined. See, guys, can you see exact error? These errors will make you an expert in UI5. How many of you very often see your console when your output doesn't come? Just misfiring missiles won't help you कि अच्छा अनुभव ने बोल दिया तो आज तो मैं misfire कर दूंगी. Don't, it won't help you, guys. You got to also investigate what went wrong. How often do you see console? Because as far as I know, most of the examples which I've got from you, most of the errors you guys are sending me over email, I have seen the answers were hidden already in the console. You got to be chasing it, guys. You got to chase like hunger. You should have that hunger to chase it, the output. You should first see the console, then you should compare my code with your code. It's very easy that you put your question on me and I can crack it and give it in your hand, but that is not going to make you an expert. That is not going to make you an expert. It's very easy to put questions on somebody else rather than answering them by yourself. How much effort are you putting sincerely to find out what went wrong? Are you comparing your code with my code? Are you comparing it? I see very few people does that. I do not see. It's very easy. I see very easily you put conveniently on me. Very few of them are doing it. Guys, there are tools on internet called code compare. You can compare your view, put your view with my view side by side in this tool, online tool. Don't have to install anything in your company system. Put side by side both the tools, put side by side both the lines, okay, and it will compare for you. See, it will show the difference. It will find the difference. See, exactly it's finding where have you done wrong. Why it is, how difficult it is for you to put my view on the left side and your view on the right side and compare it. Ki where you have done mistake. Where is the line mismatch? Where is the character mismatch? You got to put, who will help you in real production? That time I will not be able to help you. I can help you only in training. So you got to sweat more, guys. It demands more. It demands more. It demands more problem solving. Have you read the JDs of jobs? What do they write? Extraordinary communication skills. Why? Because when you learn something, you got to multiply your knowledge with others. This is why they ask communication skills. Problem solving ability, which means are you able to crack the problems when you face them? Are you able to compare, do some jugaad innovation and able to find out the results and solve the problems? Do you have that capability? Analytical capabilities so that you can build the complicated logic, simplify it and put it in the code, put it in form of code. These are all the JD requirements of any job, and this is why they write these things. Do you have that? Do you have that in you? Are you able to compare the code with my code and find out where you have done wrong? Self learning is best learning, guys. It is the best one learning. There is no match to self learning. There is no match to it. Trust me. There is no match to it. And if you get a good instructor, wow, 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 voila, you will do magic in your life. A self learner with a great instructor together, it's a killer combination. It's a killer combination. Trust me, nobody can even come close to you in your entire organization. My biggest drawback in my life, I never had got one single good instructor. I only got one instructor who has changed my life, and that was during my college days. It was my electronics teacher. It was my electronics who used to teach me applied electronics, operational amplifiers, 555 ICs. All these things I used to learn from him. MOSFET, metal oxide field effect transistors, FETs, transistors, bipolar antennas, antenna engineering, missile engineering, aeronautics. These are all the subjects this guy has taught me. And I always grateful to this guy. He lives in Jodhpur. I'm still in touch with him. He was the only instructor which I've got in my life who has actually changed it for me. Who has actually changed it me. Remember, guys, it's always so important. There are never bad students. There are always bad teachers. You might have come across bad teachers, because of that you were unable to grow, but that should not be the reason and excuse for you to say कि मुझे तो bad teacher मिला, अब मैं तो life में कभी आगे नहीं बढ़ पाऊंगा. Never say that. Yes, we had everything. We cannot have everything always in life. We may have some good things, we may have some bad things. It's a combination. You got to strengthen your weaknesses. You know better than anybody. Strengthen your weaknesses, turn them into your strengths, and then you are unbeatable, undisputed, unbeatable. All right, that's what you got to do. All right, so coming back, this there is no default aggregation. That's what also UI5 gives you. We've got to add the items aggregation, add these things inside. And now watch out when you do things right, output will naturally come. Output will naturally come. Let's come back and refresh the page. And now you see it's loading up, and voila, there you go. You can see your icon tabs, your tab strip have come up. Icon tab filters have come up. You want to give an icon? You want to give an icon? Why not? Why not? Let's give an icon property as well. So let's give an icon property SAP-icon, and I will say info, maybe I will say information icon. Maybe I'm not sure if it's a right icon or not, but I can give a try, no problem. Later on we can also refer the icon, this thing, icon collections, and I will just add here suppliers, and I will probably add here, let's say, maybe plain icon. Let's see if this works. Let's come back, refresh, and now we'll see. Yes, you've got this supplier. At least I've come. I did not come and plain did not come, and maybe I think it's info icon. Let me check if I remember correctly the icon name. I don't remember the icon name, so maybe I have to go to UI5 icon explorer, search for UI5 icon explorer, and there you can find the list of icons available in SAP UI5. So it's now redirecting us to the icon explorer, and there we can go to SAP UI5 icons. That's what we are more interested into. So go inside to see the collection of SAP UI5 icons available. And now maybe I will use something called information, or maybe this active. So let me use one active icon, and maybe I will also use this add equipment icon. And let's come back to Web IDE, add equipment icon, and just add that here, and I will say active. And let's come back and test it. So you should now get nice icons on top of your tab strips, and still this one is wrong. I think it's activate or something. It's activate, yeah, not active. So I want activate, or maybe I just want something else, maybe activities. Yeah. Activities, and just save this. And let's come inside, and you can see now there are 3 tabs. All right, so how do we add now content inside each of the tab? Very easy, very easy. Each of the icon tab filter which you've got, it has a content aggregation. Okay, you can go and check again the documentation. Just come here, it has a content aggregation. So go inside the icon tab filter object, it has a content aggregation. That one is default. That one is default, which means you can blindly put inside any content which you want to put inside the icon tab filter. Now guys, with that I would like to also quickly show you how can you leverage at this point the layout editor to quickly build your screen. It's very fast and amazing. You can right click on your view, click on open with layout editor. Okay, and now you can actually build your screen much faster with the drag and drop option. So each of the icon tab filter, we are going to add some content now. So I've switched to the view 2 in the layout editor. So this is the view 2 with the layout editor. You can see nicely it looks. Yeah, you have these three icon tab filters, and you can also change the properties of them on the right side now. And I'll switch to the additional info, and I go to the controls, and I will search for a control called maybe simple form. So search for simple form, and just drag this simple form and drop it on inside the first tab. Okay, so just drop it in the first tab, and voila, you see it has added a simple form for you inside of this additional info tab. And now you can select the title and change this title value. I can say uh, maybe more fruit info. Yeah, and now we can change these labels, and I can say the fruit is price, and now this one I will say health benefit. Just select this, and it's here. Save this, voila, there you go. So that's it, guys. It's so easy to build this. And now you're going to do binding with these input fields. Select the input field, and I want to do an relative binding. So here in the price, let's go and check the value property for binding of the input fields. You see all the properties are displayed on the right, and we should also see the value property. If you're unable to find it, you can always search the properties on the top. Yeah, just search here for properties, search for value property, because usually there are too many properties, and now you can see this value property over here. Just click on this binding button, and now if there are models defined in manifest, you will see them here, but right now not usable for us because we have not done properly. But just put the relative path over here, the price of the fruit which is being selected, and now here we will put the unit of the fruit which is being selected, and now we will put here the health benefit. We'll just do that, save it, and let's come back and refresh the app. So it's so easy to actually create this screen. Pretty easy, pretty straightforward to build this kind of screen. And now I select banana, and you can see it's being put here 40 kilogram. So that's the value. And now, oops, health benefit not coming, something wrong. I think I have wrongly used the property from the fruits. So it's health benefit. I think spelling mistake is there in benefit. It's actually a spelling mistake in our JSON itself. So all right, but we are okay. So maybe I can choose this and just change it over here, press enter, save this, and we are good to come with the test data. So let's come back, and yes, you can see we have got now the values over here. Cool, guys. So that's your icon tab filter. And of course, we will be tomorrow adding more content to these tabs. We will see a table control. And of course, we will also see how to enable F4 help, how to see the pop-up and other stuff. With that, it's a wrap on today's class. Any questions before we close? Anyone? Any questions before we close today's class?
Hello.
Yes, please.
Hello.
Yes, hi.
Yeah, no, I have. Yeah, no, I have a small clarification. See,
Mhm.
yesterday we discussed about that get parent method, right?
All
Regarding
right.
master detail
Mhm. Mhm.
application.
Mhm.
If we see that work list uh, example, there was an app control, right? Under
Mhm.
the app control, we have used that pages aggregation, right?
Yes.
And under pages we have added the views.
Right, right. You're right. Mhm.
So in that case we are only using only once get parent method.
Yes. Very good. Mhm. Why it is like this? Because
Yes.
there, when you just do get parent, okay, if your views are inside the pages aggregation, when you just do get parent, there is only one children of the app. The app doesn't have two childrens. Okay, when a parent,
Okay.
when a mother has only one children, Okay, and when the mother is talking about the children, people will easily understand because there is only one children. But when a mother has two children, and if mother is addressing that my child has a fever, then people will cross question which child has a fever, child 1 or child 2. That is the confusion comes because it has two aggregations. Getting the parent is not sufficient. You have to also get the parent of parent because there is a clear differentiation in these children's. But here
Yeah.
every view is part of same children, same pages, so there is no question that system cannot understand when you just do a single get parent. Does that answer your question?
Okay.
So it
Yeah, I
also
got it.
depends the way SAP UI5 creates the DOM. Technically speaking, SAP UI5 generates the DOM differently for them. In SAP UI5, when you look at the DOM, in this case, the DOM has directly these views added inside the app control. But here in this, when you look at the DOM has sections, master has section, details section. Inside that, it adds the views. So that's the reason you have to do 2 times get parent to reach to the parent grandparent, which is split
Mm.
app. It depends also on the DOM, the way UI5 creates the DOM. UI5 creates DOM differently for both the cases, different. That's why it
Yeah,
behaves
actually,
different.
yeah, if I would have explored that DOM structure, I would not have come with this doubt.
No
Yeah.
problem, no problem. It's my duty to answer each question.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Anubhav,
Yes,
I
please.
have one more question.
Uh-huh.
Actually, see, there is some property for a list. Can you please open that view one?
Mm-hmm.
So there is some property like item press. So beside
These are
list,
not
what are the
properties.
content
Item
or
press
what?
is not a property. Item press is not a property. Let's go to list base class. Is this a property? List base class. If you check, it's not a property. Go to properties. You will not find that item press property. You will find that in events. It's an event. Item press is an event. Selection change is event.
Okay, yes. Okay, fine. So see, inside that list item, we are giving some more items there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Can you open view one XML?
Mm-hmm. Let's go there. Okay.
Yeah, there is some list is there where you have put it ID and then property.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So see there item press in last on item press the one method you have defined.
Right.
So see my question is inside what are the control you are providing? So that control can inherit this functionality or inherit this property. So suppose in list we are providing one button UI control one button. So there event we can say that press is equal to on next or something we are defining, right?
Mm-hmm.
So can we inherit that item press there on simply writing the press?
No, we cannot. So if you are, which I will also demonstrate you tomorrow's class when you understand table control, where we will add inside each table F4 help. Each row of table will have a F4 help button. So this event cannot be inherited. This is a parent class level event actually. Only list can use this event. List children's, which is like this. This is children of the list. It cannot use that event actually. It cannot.
Then okay, then fine. Suppose if you are providing one button here in that content of this
Uh-huh.
page. So we are writing button text is equal to
So
some
basically, you're
value
saying
save
in each
and that.
list item, we want to add a button here. Is
No,
it?
no, no. See, I have another thing I can say it. See, suppose in the view one we have provided one button. There,
Okay.
like we can say that button text is equal to save and that press is equal to on next. We
Mm-hmm.
can define like that something. So here we can say on top of one nav back button also is there, top of banana.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so their property we are providing on like a nav back press or
Mm-hmm.
something. Why this is also button and down save also is button and both are in the view one only.
Which one is on save button? On save button
See
is on
in
view two
down save,
actually.
Okay. So no, both are the button only. We can say that.
Right, both are button only. Yes, back is also button, this also
But
button.
on that back button, we are providing a nav back something. Nav back press is
Mhm.
some property or something like that.
Right, right.
But
Right,
that
because that's
property
a
we cannot.
behavior. Each button has different behavior. Save button save karega, cancel karega. Back button will take you back to the previous screen. Functionality is different for each button, right?
So can you please open that property of this button? Nav back.
This one,
Yeah, yeah, yes.
this button is not supported by press event. This button is supported by special event at the view level, because this button is added at the page level. So only page level has an event called nav button press, which calls this whenever this button is clicked, because page only and only has one button called nav back button. Only one button, back button. So for that they have dedicatedly provided an event handler nav button press for page. Okay, so this
And
is
there is my confusion.
the
Why?
nav
Because
press.
both are the same like button
No,
only.
they're actually for end user, they are buttons only. But the way developers build the screen, it is different for developers. Okay, for end user it
Okay.
is same. So you see nav button press on back. End user के लिए it is
Okay.
same button only. So don't think from end user perspective. Look at from developer
Okay.
perspective. The
Got
way you create this button is different. This one is different. Tomorrow I will add a button inside a table. I will create a table and I will add a button inside a table. That's also a button, right?
Okay,
So, but
but
the
behavior is different for
the way
both.
you create them is different by its
Mhm.
nature. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, I will see that. Thank you, Anubhav. And one more thing, Anubhav, is this possible? Like, suppose we have created empty view yesterday,
Uh-huh.
so there we can add some I reference one tab is there in HTML, right?
Mm-hmm.
iframe. Sorry. So
Yes.
can we use like Google page on this
Yes.
empty
Arey
space?
wah, what a question. You can actually embed HTML also as part of your page. See here, guys, HTML, XML namespace HTML दिख रहा है क्या? ये क्यों use होता
Mhm.
है? Just bring it on. Go to the empty view, and now you see this XHTML. Where is that gone? It's not added here. Maybe I will use this one, this guy. So
I'm
XHTML thing, and I'll just come and put that namespace. Okay, it's here. Sorry. And now in the
yeah, yes.
content, I'm gonna add HTML namespace, and I say my core HTML tag iframe src property. I think it's href property.
Yeah, actually.
आने दो सर, आने दो.
This will come inside that view only, right?
आना तो चाहिए. Let's see. Even I never tried it. You ask me, I am trying it. I
Okay,
never
okay,
know.
fine.
I don't know. I don't know. I just try. I just try. See, guys, the person who will try, only that person will get errors or output. कुछ तो आएगा. I always expect
Yes.
something should come. Either error will come or some output will come. कुछ तो आएगा. Something should come, right? I'm waiting for that something to come. कुछ तो आया. So if you don't even try conveniently, just sit and relax and think कि everything will come naturally. कैसे होगा? And voila, there you go. OnlineFuryTrainings.com got loaded inside this SAP UI5 application. Increase कर दो height. Height बढ़ा दो सर इसका. बढ़ा दो इसका size बढ़ा दो. 80% कर दो. Google ले आओ, Gmail ले आओ, कुछ भी ले आओ इसमें. आपका इच्छा है.
So I have used external one URL for my company. So it's open in new browser. It's not opening in the same view.
लगा दो iframe सर. पागल हो जाएंगे वो लोग. बोलेंगे कैसे इंटीग्रेट कर दिया वेबसाइट. They will say, oh, this guy, behind your back they will say, this guy has integrated, oh my god, this guy has integrated our company website with Fury. What an amazing guy. Who knows? There is just one iframe tag which is which is bringing the whole DOM, the HTML of your company website here. They will say Raj Kishore is the guy who is actually an expert in UI5. He's done amazing job. He's integrated complete company portal with Fury. He has done a portal integration with Company Fury.
So whatever the action we are performing here, it will open in the same view, right? It will not go to open in
See,
new
at front of
browser
you,
or
I am doing, sir. What do you want else?
no. Why?
It
Because
is
I
opening.
same I have tried and it's opening into new tab, like a
No,
new
you shouldn't.
browser.
You haven't used, I think, iframe. Choose
Yeah.
this iframe.
No, iframe I have used, but maybe that SRC I have not used. I have used href. So that is the problem, I think.
Okay.
I will change.
Hi, Anubhav.
Yeah. Thank you,
Look at
Anubhav.
this side, Anubhav.
Yes, please.
Hello. Yeah.
One by one.
Anubhav,
One by one.
do you have any class? Hello.
Yes, please.
Yeah. Do you have any class in Fury for voice command? Just like a Google, so
That's
that we
an
can use
inbuilt
that one for.
feature. That's an inbuilt feature. Why do you want to support every application for voice command? It's an inbuilt feature of Fury 3.0, which is coming soon.
Okay. Okay. Thanks, Anubhav.
Right.
Yeah, no, I have another question.
Go ahead.
Yeah. When we have created that application, we
I
did
need some
that
water.
bind.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I need some water. Just 1 second.
Yeah, it's fine.
Go ahead with your question in the meantime.
Yeah, actually, we have used that bind aggregation.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, we have used that OList that bind aggregation. Then we have given that items aggregation, then path name, right?
Right.
I have just a small question. In case of when we have given that path name, we have not used that curly braces. But in design time, when we are giving, we are giving that curly braces. Is there any specific reason?
You got to read the PPT again. It's already answered in the previous class. All 4 syntaxes which I taught you for binding. If you go and check those syntaxes, you will understand the answer. So when you use path, that time you don't have to use curly braces. Okay. Whenever you use path, we don't have to use curly braces. When path is clearly written, we don't need to use curly brace. When path is not written, then we have to use curly braces. Clear? Not clear? Watch out.
Yeah.
Go back. Whenever you use path, you don't ever have to use curly braces, guys. But when that's a syntax. There are 4 different syntax which I taught you. So there are 4 different syntaxes you got to read through again. So whenever you use path, we never use curly brace. That's a golden rule. When we don't use path, that time you have to use curly brace. So this same thing, slash fruits is a binding. You can write like this, curly braces, and then path, and then fruits, like that. You can do like this, slash fruits.
Here the path is coming as implicit only. Yeah.
Path means it's a path only. Okay, this guy is a path. Okay, if you don't use path, you don't have to use single quote also, just directly put like this. This is another, they're just 2 syntax, just a syntax, nothing else, just a syntax, 2 different way of doing things.
Okay, thank you.
Can you explain value comes in drag and drop? No, drag and drop is out of context. I've never worked on drag and drop till today, and that is something you got to explore. It's completely new area. Maybe I will note down this for my Anubhav learning series video. We cannot do drag and drop feature. Okay, are you asking the layout editor, Ramchandar? Are you asking about layout editor? Are you asking about layout editor? So can you explain the values come in drag and drop? It will automatically whenever you use views. So that's something we have to still see in the future. Okay, we have to still see the future. That we still have to see it in the future actually. Okay, guys, we'll see that. All right. So that's it for the day. See you next time. Goodbye. See
Anubhav,
you
I have
tomorrow.
one question.
Yes,
Anubhav,
last question.
Anubhav,
Last
can I
question.
ask one question?
Go ahead.
Anubhav, Sanjeev here. You added the tabs, right? There is a possibility we can able to add like a quadrant. Just to give you example, when they click on, like for example, I want to show 4 different windows, but different information about banana, where it comes from. One has like a picture or something, banana tree, things like that, like instead of tab. Information, when we click on it, right away rendered into 4 different quadrants.
So you mean to say within one tab you want to display 4 different sections?
Instead of additional info, suppliers and extra, and you have that, right? They have to click every button there. Instead, when they click on, for example, list banana lemon, I want to show 4 quadrant like information.
Got it.
But
You can use panel control for that. What you can do is you
okay.
can come here and you see I've added a simple form inside this icon tab filter. You can use a panel control. So panel,
Okay.
and you can give a header for panel, of course. And now inside this, or maybe I'll add it with the layout editor. It's going to be pretty fast. For the layout editor, you get a first feel of layout editor as well. So I'm going to go back, right click on the view, and I'll say open with my layout editor, please. And I just double click to make it bigger, and just scroll down, and now add a panel control and drag and drop this panel over here in the content. And now in this panel, we're going to give a header text for the panel. It's more fruit info. And now I drag and drop this complete simple form element inside the panel. इसको panel के अंदर ले जाइए, छोड़ दीजिए इसको. And now this guy, I hope it's inside the panel now. Oops. Yeah, I guess. And now I'm going to copy this panel, multiple panels I'm going to make. And I just paste it, including the elements inside I want. So you can see it has added another panel, and I'm going to also bring this little tiny input fields. So there's another way, better way to copy this whole panel as such. So select this whole panel. I think guys, my panel is gone. I'm so sorry. Let me do Control Z, bring it inside the panel. It's moving slow. You can also, if you're unable to gaze on the layout editor, you can always go to the outline view. Okay. And now you can see here we have got icon tab filter. We've got this panel, and I'm going to cut this layout, and I'm going to paste this layout inside the panel. So inside the content of the panel, I'm going to paste it. So now it's going to move inside, and you can see this is my panel. So I want 2 panels like this, or 3 panels like this. I can copy this panel, and I can add it inside content of the icon tab once again. So I've added now 3 panels, and each panel I want to give a different life. So I can say panel 1, panel 2, and I can say panel 3. Save this up and just come back. So guys, you can keep asking these things endlessly, and I can keep telling you, but you got to, what is that you are doing? Are you practicing things up? How much things you can practice? You see, now we got 3 panels. You want them also expandable, collapsible? You can definitely do that. Come here, and now here there's an option. Expandable is true. Just do that. Mark that up for all panels. So that's something you got to explore. You got to explore. What are you afraid of? What are you waiting for? You got to go and hit the floor. You got to go and check the UI5 SDK and see what controls are available and how can you utilize them. If you have no clue, you see some Fiori application, take reference from them, look at their DOM, and now see you got 3 panels, expandable, collapsible, and now it has got different information you can add inside. That's something which you got to do it, guys. You got to do this. Okay.
Anubha, I have one question.
Yes. Go ahead.
Actually, I tried to add a view at design time. When I add the view at design time, when I'm trying to add page, it is giving me error.
It will.
The same if If I add panel, it is working.
It will, because the ID, what is the error in console? The ID should not be same. It should not have a conflict in ID. On one page, the ID cannot duplicate. So you can email me a
Okay.
project using Google Drive. If you are unable to crack it, I will crack and give it to you. But you got to put your hard work, guys. Do Google, post on SDN, check out what are all the other ways, how other peoples are doing. Put code project, go to codeproject.com, stackoverflow.com, sdn.com. There are help portals. You got to hit the floor. You got to work hard for that. That's when you are going to do the learning, guys. You got to sweat more. It demands a lot of hard work to become an expert. I can give you an answer so easy, but it becomes so easy for you that you will have this habit of getting into easiness. That will not make going to work for you big time in the project. Yes, you will be able to build apps. Yes, you will be able to meet your deliverables, but you will not be called so-called expert. To become an expert, more hard work is needed. More hard work is required, guys. There was a man, they call him mad. The more he had, the more he had. Remember, there was a man, they call him mad. The more he have, the more he had. So this is how it works. It needs madness. It needs craziness to become an expert. If you might have meet people in your life whom you take inspiration from. They are actually mad. They are mad actually. It needs madness. पागलपन चाहिए, पागलपन. कुछ कर गुजरने के लिए पागलपन चाहिए. Do you have that पागलपन? Do you have that craziness? Do you have that madness? Do you have that madness in you? If you have it, you are unbeatable. You are unbeatable. एक चीज को पकड़ लो. UI5 सीखना है, मुझे सीखना है, मैं कर दूंगा या कर दूंगी. बस कोई रोक नहीं सकता है. Nobody can stop you then. But you have to be unstoppable. For that you need that madness, that craziness. I still remember once upon a time there was one of my student. He messaged me. He says, Anubhav, night 2 o'clock I watch your video. I got so motivated that I left my sleep. I could not sleep, and then whole night I practiced you. I completed 5 chapters and line to line with complete practice. This is called madness. This is called madness. You need to have that motivation. You need to have that madness. With that, it's a wrap. More questions we'll take up tomorrow. Got to rush for office. See you tomorrow at the same time. Have a nice day. Goodbye.